think it looks pretty cool. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's bright.
Not won't be mistaken with anything else. Today we're here with Josh's Supra. Edgar got Edgar and Luis got the block in and mounted and put the turbo on for looks for the show, which was pretty successful. So Josh will need a transmission if he wants to move, I guess, right? So can't just
What do you mean?
like that is.
Yeah.
You need a transmission.
Drive shaft, and right to the diff, one piece. That's what they call it, right? Direct drive, right? 1-to-1.
All right, give a brief overview of Josh's car and what we're doing. I know
Well, it's a shit box, and we're trying to make it not a shit box. So yeah, it's a V160 car, and because of the power level of the car, doesn't want to risk grenading the transmission. We opted out to do the T56 from Grannas. So we got the GR1200, and gonna send it to the fucking moon.
What are we looking to make torque-wise in this?
No idea. It makes what it makes.
Edgar. Well, don't you normally have to worry about torque at high numbers like
We
that?
don't worry about shit. We're just gonna send it to the fucking moon.
So this video is not for educational purposes, clearly. You're just fucking off right now.
Shooting for the moon. We got the QuickTime bell housing, SFI approved. That way, when we grenade the clutch from making too much power, it doesn't shoot through the trans tunnel and cut anybody's feet off. And we shouldn't have any problems with this clutch. S246 Tilton twin disc and ceramic rigid discs. This clutch will, take a pretty heavy abuse. I can't remember what the torque capacity rating for this clutch was, but it's a lot. We have the flywheel, all the hardware from Grannas, new master slave mounts, harness, and our indexing plate, which we use. You have to make sure that the bell housing is centered to the engine because you don't want any problems. You can find all that information on Grannas' website and how to do it there. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty straightforward kit. Everything comes labeled, even with torque specs and stuff, which is nice from Grannas. So can't complain there. Gives you everything that you need. And it's a direct bolt-in kit for the most part, very little modification. But this chassis has plenty of room for the T56, so it works.
You can see Grannas' signature orange.
Yeah. Normally we do the 700s and just send them to the moon.
They hold really well as well. Mother of Jesus, that is heavy. That's definitely going to add some weight to this already heavy motherfucker.
Gonna put in our 2ZZ flywheel bolts. ZZ. I don't know why they give you ARP loop for flywheel bolts. These generally flywheel bolts, you want to Loctite them in so they don't come loose. Torque spec, 9,000 foot-pounds. I don't have a torque wrench that big.
But seriously, 70 foot-pounds. 9,000.
YOLO.
Is he getting... All right, say goodbye to your fans.
Later, alligators.
Orange, you're glad you went with a Grannas T56. See, and you willingly come here to do this.
Yeah.
Which is just not to get copyrighted. Right, well, these two work fast, and I missed the installation of the trans.
Well, it wasn't nothing special.
But You could see it from a mile away.
You look under the car, you can see this.
Yeah.
Trans.
It's indistinguishable, that's for sure.
They know you went to no other than Grannas. Yeah, that's the bypass line.
Oh, the bypass, sorry.
For the pump.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. And then it ain't long enough to go to the top.
For people who don't know, can you explain
we don't
this?
know either.
You can't?
It's got an internal pump. On the GR1000s, it had an external pump, so you have to run an external. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
External electric pump for the to.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ. Well, it just has a internal pump, and so this bypass line just ties it all together internally. You could technically run this to like a cooler if you were doing something like road racing or something and really needed to manage the temperature of the gearbox. But essentially, this bypass line just ties the pump to the case.
Guess I should probably clean this gas tank off a little bit since it's dropped. The gas tank is out because whoever did this before decided to just cut holes in the top to run the wires. Super sharp edges. This needs to be fixed. So we're gonna fix this whilst the gas tank is out. But making some progress with Josh, so that's always good. I think I showed you that the trans was in and the drive shaft was mocked up in, test fitted, I should say. And then Jose took the diff out. And the diff is out. We're gonna change the gearing. What gearing are we going with?
410s.
I was hooking up another link here. And this pretty sick MR2. Not gonna lie. It's like a mini Ferrari. I love them. Link for the win. Josh getting a link too. We're all itching to hear this sucker, that's for sure. But a bit more work to do. But that's how it goes sometimes. So, are you YouTube ready? Sorry. Some changes to the trunk for Josh, so it looks a little bit as
Did you show what it was
it
like
should.
before?
Yeah, with the
hole right
hole
here?
and the yes.
All nice and packed up now.
So it's all nice and patched up. Yep, Aaron welded it together for us. Now it looks normal. And I guess what? Edgar said you're gonna paint it today?
Yeah, undercoat the bottom of it. Down here. And put the gas tank back in. Now this fits back over.
There we go. Did you see what Josh sent Edgar the picture? He was like, I got dicked. And he drew a dick where the thing was.
No, I didn't see that.
We know what it looks like underneath, and now this is what it looks like here. The before and the after. It's just a lot going on today. Andy beating the box up. Nothing was better than Jose walking in and saying that he had a meat stick for you. Grade A speaker wire powering the car. There you go. It's like a fucking rave over here with this light. So you're gonna paint the interior?
Yeah, just gonna paint this trunk area. Nothing crazy, just some small to make it all black.
What do you mean, you don't like the scratched antique look?
It's as Dan would say, patina.
Looks good, Jose. Looks way better. Looks pretty good in there.
Yeah, it had a little bit of schmutz in there, you know, from crap sitting. PHR triple pump hanger with the Dual Design brushless single pump adapter. So we'll get this installed. This will bolt right here. We'll set the fuel pump height. We have our pump, the Injector Dynamics controller, which is pretty beefy. We've used quite a few of these. They work very well.
All the fuel pressure.
Yeah. All the fuel flow, all the fuel pressure, and yeah. The old setup was, it had a mechanical setup, so it's like a Haltech pump inside of the tank, and then the mechanical on the motor, and it worked okay. It wasn't bad. There was a couple complaints from the system from Josh, which I can understand. So being with how technology has progressed with the brushless stuff, this will definitely do what we're trying to achieve with a single pump and clean up a lot of stuff, make a lot more room, and be a lot more simple. We've used a couple of these already and they work very well. So I'd like to see, you know, how robust this is and push it pretty hard in this car.
So it's just one fuel pump.
That's it.
That's crazy to me.
Yep. Brushless technology. Yep.
So do you know what's in that box?
Inside this?
Yeah. No.
It looks like a damn
It's like a
Sony
ECU on
Explorer.
crack.
Scan for instructions. Or we could peel that off. We don't need that. So yeah, I mean, we'll get this installed. I'll focus on getting the hanger and everything set up in the fuel tank before we reinstall the fuel tank. That way we can run the wires through, kind of like how the factory does it, with the harness kind of above the tank and going through. It's a lot easier with the fuel tank removed, and we also removed the fuel tank to fix that botch crap we had in the trunk anyway. So
Oh yeah, let's see how that's. Show me how that's coming now, because I know you guys cleaned it up and did a Radican to clean
right
it.
now, but this is underneath. You have to see it when we lower it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Okay. All right, exciting. I'll be back when this sucker's installed then.
Yeah.
You stroking it?
I gotta figure out how I wanna do this.
What do you mean it's not just plug and play?
Sure, yeah. Just plug and play. I guess you gotta pop the gas over there.
I had to go between the two legs.
Pump it up. I'll just fish it through.
A little less crispy.
Yeah, Shipbox 101. We made the repairs to the trunk and welded up a bunch of holes and a bunch of chopping up and cutting up that the previous shop felt was necessary to do. We removed the gas tank out of the car to weld in all that stuff and essentially replace metal that was cut out. Got the trunk back to its, fairly close to its original state. We painted the trunk all black because it was very scratched up and kind of dinged up. Factory doesn't really do a good job painting underneath it anyways. Started looking at placement for everything. So the nitrous tank was over there, but it was a problem being there because it was in the way of his door bars. So his door bars are removable for when he wants to drive the car in the street, and he has these brackets to be able to just sit them in the trunk and let them hang.
Let him hang, baby.
Yeah, the problem is he was literally letting him hang because this bottle was over there and he couldn't put the bars on those pins, so the bars were literally just dangling towards the front. So we moved the nitrous bottle tank under here, which gave us enough room to put the door bars in. We moved the CO2 tank for the CO2 boost control in that corner. The battery was moved from this front left corner to over there. And then we got the Injector Dynamics brushless fuel pump controller sitting over here. So we got this bracket so the controller can sit flat against the bracket, and then we mounted the bracket to the car so it's not going anywhere. Same thing for the battery. We tried to utilize some of the unfortunate holes that were already in the trunk area. Didn't really want to drill more holes or do anything like that. Trying to fit what we can and make it look as reasonable as possible. And this is what we came up with. I made a kind of like a base for the battery out of a flat piece of aluminum, so it had something flat to go against, because this area isn't really flat, as you can see. And so then I used kind of like some essentially pieces of rubber to make feet for the bracket to sit against the car, and I put different thicknesses around each corner to make it level, and then just took the battery and sat it on top of that bracket with some rubber in between the battery and the aluminum plate. Made a bracket that goes across and just kind of it sits there. It's not going anywhere. It's tied down, so I mean it'll do the job. Am I 100% happy with it? No, I'm probably like 95% of the way, but it looks way better than how it came in. It's not going to have any chopped up fuel lines or any wiring or anything, just kind of scattered the fuck around here. I know you're probably looking at this wiring. Oh, what about that wiring? Well, we actually integrated the fuel pump wiring into the factory harness, and then reloomed the factory harness, which goes above the gas tank and then comes through this grommet that they so nicely chopped up. And so these, I just had them shoved in here for now, but that'll all get wired up into the ID brushless fuel pump controller, and we'll make a loomed harness and mount it and get it all cleaned up. Nonetheless, everything else here is pretty much in its place, and we'll just be working around that, making everything ultimately look as clean as possible, work and be safe, because the shit that was in here before was just a complete hack job mess. We redid some of the undercoating underneath the car. Toyota does a nice job of laying it on thick, but unfortunately throughout the years and hands that this car's been through, a lot of it's been like kind of flaked off or scraped off or damaged or whatever. So we undercoated underneath the gas tank area, which they don't really do. They kind of just paint it and then start undercoating outside. So we kind of followed that same method, because the gas tank does kind of squish in the tire well area. So we painted it black and then undercoated everywhere else, and just trying to work with what we got, really. But nonetheless, the trunk does look 100 times better. We trimmed the carpet so he doesn't have just like a big floppy loose carpet hanging down in the back. I didn't want to have to do that, but it was the only thing to do to make it look reasonably clean and not just have a carpet that's folded all over the place, because you can't really take the carpet and roll it back because nothing's flat, so it's just kind of doing this bullshit. Josh has another piece of carpet, so he wasn't scared of me cutting that and following the chassis line here. That at least all this stuff gets kind of covered up, and we'll tidy it up a little more once everything's wired up and set in place. But eventually we'll probably be looking at making like a false floor here or something, maybe carpeted or something. That way it's kind of flat. He'll have a trunk area where he can, if he wants to throw some stuff or whatever. Who knows? But it's a race car. It's a street car, a race car.
This isn't like an overnight build here. We're
Definitely isn't, because you go to repair one thing, and as you repair that one thing, you open up another can of worms and find something else and find something else. So it's kind of just like, eventually you reach a point where you don't keep finding stuff, and then you can work your way back from that point. But it definitely seems like it takes a little bit, because you're kind of continuously unraveling more and more fuckery.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. They had this flex fuel sensor mounted inside of the trunk and screwed to this back wall with probably 4-inch long sheet metal screws going all the way to the damn front seats. The fuel lines and everything were inside of the car. They had it kind of shoved through the spare tire hump and just drilled a bunch of fucking holes, and it was just nasty looking. And then the flex fuel sensor looked like it was from 1982. And so it's just, I get it. Some of the things that were done, years ago may not be as or the same as we do them now, but we're putting together the car now, so we're gonna put it together with now methods, and bring this thing back to its glory, because it's been a while for this car.
Yeah, poor Josh. Been through a lot, so.
Yep.